and it was Sky. And she landed right next to him in a helicopter, and she went, "Hey, okay guys, I'm here, let's do this." And so they all squeezed into Sky's helicopter. This was unwise because Sky's helicopter was tiny. Yeah, they all squeezed in, like their faces smushed against the window because nobody wanted to be left behind. I think that's what your space would look like. It was more like this, squashed against the window. Anyway, so off they flew, and the helicopter, because it's really, really overloaded. And the Sky was like, "I'm having trouble controlling it. Let's come in and get a little bit lower, a little bit." Oh no. It only gone and crashed right next to the spaceship. And it wasn't a very high crash. Like they landed from like this height. Yeah, they kind of crash landed. It was a small crash. And they all crawled out of Sky's helicopter, and the helicopter little propeller things were a bit wonky. And Sky went, "I knew I shouldn't have overloaded it. Oh, so silly of me. Is everybody okay?" And everybody went, "Ooh, yeah, I think we were all right. Yeah. Oh." And then they looked up, and they looked straight into the eyes of an alien from Mars who was green and had ginormous eyes and a rather snazzy little hat, as you do, with an antenna. And the alien said, "How do you do?" And everybody went, and fainted completely on the floor. They did not expect an alien to speak or even exist. And the alien said, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Are you all okay? Would anyone care for some tea?" And everybody went, "Yes, please. Tea would be lovely." "What? Why do you speak like an English gentleman?" And the alien explained that actually he had visited Earth many times before. He was from Mars, but he spent an awful lot of time growing up in England and living with the Queen. But it was top secret. Okay? Don't tell anybody. So anyway, the alien had a lovely posh British accent, and he loved tea and cucumber sandwiches and scones with jam and cream on them. And he said, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed to have crash landed my favourite spaceship here, just by the side of the road. I only popped out for some more cheese. How embarrassing." And everyone said, "Oh, don't worry, we'll help you." And so the alien gave them all tea. And everyone was having the best time because this was the second lot of tea they'd had in maybe a couple of hours, really. And they were quite relieved that the alien was friendly and not the kind of alien that would, zap them and turn them into dust. So that had proven very lucky indeed. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to need some supplies. I need a special kind of it's a kind of power source for my flying saucer. You can only get it under the ground near the sea. Do you happen to know anybody who would be able to help us out at all? I've just completely run out." And Alexander and Christoph went, "We might know some people." And they called up the Octonauts. Dun, 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 dun. And they said, "Hello, Captain Barnacles." And Captain Barnacle said, "Ahoy there. How are you all?" And Alexander and Christopher said, "We've got a strange request. Would you better help us?" And Captain Barnacle said, "Well, we've not got any animals that need rescuing today, so sure, that would be great." And Alexander and Christopher said, "Well, got an exciting mission. We've got to collect a special kind of rock from under the sea, and it is found in the deep, dark tunnel through some cave systems. Do you think you can help us? And Captain Barnacle said, of course. Anything for you guys. You're my 2 favourite guys. And Auntie Lisa as well. And Alexander Christopher said, great. We'll come and meet you. We're going to bring our scuba gear. Okay? And he said, okay. Over and out. Bye-bye. Wow. So, here's what happened next. The Hares of Havoc hung out with the Martian and just drank tea all afternoon. They were having the best time. And then Christopher, Alexander and Auntie Lisa flew... Oh, no, wait. They had to fix the helicopter. Fix the helicopter? It only had a slightly bent propeller thing. You know those bits that spin around? I don't think they're called propellers. Rotor blades? Rotor blades. They fixed that because Alexander and Christopher, turns out, and Auntie Lisa actually, are very good at fixing things. As was the alien. He just needed more power for his flying saucer. And anyway, fixed it. So they flew to the sea, and Auntie Lisa, Alexander and Christopher had put on their wetsuits, and they jumped out of the helicopter into the sea like this. Right above where the octopod was waiting for them. And then they and Captain Barnacles and Dashy all swam into the caves and the tunnel. And it was super dark down there with their scuba gear. And they were swimming along. And Dashy was there with her camera taking photos of all the action. Captain Barnacles was leading the way. He had a special map app on some cabins, finding the way to the end of the tunnel where they needed to extract this special material that would help fly the spaceship. And just as they thought they were nearly there, pew! Oh no, Auntie Lisa had been stung by a cone snail. And Auntie Lisa went, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. You carry on. And Alexander and Christopher went, we can't carry on. What are we going to do? And Captain Barnacle said, don't you worry. I'll take Auntie Lisa back to the octopod. She needs Peso to look after her. And so Alexander and Christopher and Dashy all went off ahead on their own. And Auntie Lisa went, ooh. And Captain Barnacles grabbed hold of her and swam all the way back to the octopod, where he gave her over to Peso, who went, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's only one cure for this, and it's just sitting down nicely with a cup of tea. And Auntie Lisa went, okay, can I have a biscuit as well? And he gave her a biscuit as well, and that helped a lot. Anyway, so Dashy and Alexander Christopher made it all the way to the end of the cave system. And they found at the end of the tunnel the special rock they needed. And they chipped it out with a special hook, and grabbed it and put it in a backpack. And they each carried a little bit. And then they went, okay guys, we've got to be super stealthy because we don't want to get got by that cone snail on the way through, okay? And they were swimming and looking. And then right in front of them was the cone snail again. And he was like, hee, I'm going to... And then just as he was about to point out his wonderful just as he was about to go pew with one of his poisonous darts, Dashy went, aha, ka-ching! And the flash of the camera dazzled the cone snail's little tiny eyes. And he went, I don't like it. And Dashy did it again, pew, pew, pew. And then flash, pew, and Alexander and Christopher swam away. And Dashy swam away. And then hit back to the octopod. Phew. Well, they managed to collect the special rock that they needed. And so, Alexander and Christopher met up with Auntie Lisa on the octopod and said, Auntie Lisa, are you feeling up to coming back with us in Sky's helicopter? And Auntie Lisa went, yep, I feel a lot better. Okay, you might need to help me, but I will do it. And so, they all swam out of the octopod and said, thanks very much, Captain Barnacles. Thank you, Dashy. Bye. And they swam up to the surface where Skye dropped down a rope, and Alexander and Christopher heaved up Auntie Lisa under her arms, held onto the rope, and Skye flew them back to where the spaceship had crashed. And they all climbed down off the rope onto the ground. And Auntie said that was a harrowing experience. I don't want to be dangled from a rope on a helicopter ever again. And Alexander and Christopher went, that was amazing, let's do it again. And they said, Skye landed, and she said, maybe another time. So anyway, then they brought the special rock back to the Martian, the alien guy. And he went, oh, thank you, you're so kind. Whatever can I do to repay you this kindness? I just feel so foolish for running out of fuel. I mean, it's so silly of me. Really, it was. I could have ordered some off Amazon if I'd thought it through. And Alexander and Christopher went, well, you can buy it on Amazon. What are we going to the sea for? He went, oh, I didn't think of that. Never mind. Anyway, so then he reloaded his spaceship with the fuel, and he went, I know what I shall do to repay you this kindness. Would you like to come with me? We'll go on a special trip, and we'll look at the earth from afar, and then we can land with my friend, the Queen of England, and have tea. And Alexander and Christopher and Annalisa were like, yeah, let's do that. So they all climbed aboard the spaceship with the Martian, whose name was actually Egbert, the alien. Although he didn't like the term alien, he felt that was derogatory and not very kind. So anyway, his name was Egbert. And they flew all round the earth and looked at all the amazing sights that you could see. And then they landed at Buckingham Palace, where the Queen came out to meet them, and she said, oh, hello, thank you so much for helping my friend Egbert. Let's all have tea. And then that's what they did. And they had all the kinds of cakes you could imagine, because at the Queen's Palace, you are never short of cake. They had carrot cake, they had chocolate cake, they had banana cake, they had lemon drizzle cake, they had cream cake, they had Victoria sponge cake, all of the cakes. And Auntie Lisa had as much tea as she could ever possibly drink in her entire life. And Alexander and Christopher had juice and nice things as well. And they said, well, what a lovely way to end a beautiful day and having tea with the Queen of England. And that is the end of the story. I love you. Bye-bye.